Hello, Professor Standifer. This is group project number 2, and today we are going to be discussing the work-life balance. So just a quick overview of what we're going to be going over. We're going to cover the work-life balance, essentially what that means, a few definitions to start. Then we'll be talking about some of the benefits it can have, balancing both work and life. Next, we will talk about diversity, some of the challenges we face when thinking about diversity in the avenue of work-life balance. We'll then talk about some cultural aspects to our subject. Then we'll discuss how we can improve upon this subject, manage stress and emotions, and look at the other side, the employer's side, the organizational side of work-life balance as well.
So work-life balance is the amount of time spent doing your job compared to the amount of time spent with family or doing things that you yourself enjoy. A few key goals you should generally set at work is to set manageable goals, be efficient with your time, communicate, and ask for flexibility. A few key goals you should set for your home is to stay active, get support, try not to overcommit, spend quality time, but remain available but removed. Next slide. So there are many benefits to achieving a healthy work-life balance. A healthy work-life balance has been seen to have a high correlation with worker satisfaction, and as a result, companies generally see many benefits. Some of which include increased worker productivity, stronger levels of company loyalty. Companies tend to see less days where employees call in sick due to stress or other reasons. Improved customer service, because as employees have greater satisfaction, they'll tend to be more outgoing, friendlier, and customer service will see some benefits there. And finally, having a healthy work-life balance leads to employees having better mental and physical health. Next slide. So managing stress and emotions can be a very difficult process, as we read in the book. But there are quite a few ways you can try to reduce stress levels and achieve a better overall emotional state. Some of these methods are simple lifestyle changes like dieting and exercising. That'll increase your bodily performance and generally tend for you to feel better when you work or otherwise. Some other methods are relaxing in your off time or your days off by doing things you enjoy, like your hobbies or meditating, just relaxing when you don't have to work. And generally, you should try to properly manage your time so you can spend more time doing things you like the aforementioned hobbies and relaxation. And then you can also choose to spend time with family and friends. And most importantly, try to avoid bringing work home. And like we said earlier, aim for more flexibility. Try to get more flexible work hours.
Next is diversity, which is all about the inclusion a company has. It involves allowing individuals to bring aspects of themselves to work, and it makes them unique while still being treated as insiders in the workplace. In organizations that are inclusive, the organization makes efforts to ensure that all individuals are allowed to participate in the organizational life. Their voices are heard and efforts are made to remove barriers to create fair treatment of everyone. Research has shown that the climate of inclusion is necessary for diversity to turn into an advantage for organizations. And it is important to consider that diversity and inclusion need to be together, because simply having diversity does not mean that the organization is inclusive. And without it, diversity is not sufficient enough to provide the positive outcomes for both the employer and for the employee. However, when it is successful, it can bring an increase to understanding and customer service, and it increases the satisfaction of the workforce and higher company performance, which all benefit the work-life balance. Next slide, please. Some challenges of diversity. In order to reach the benefits, a company must go through the many challenges of diversity. There's some definitions: similar attraction phenomenon, which is the tendency to be more attracted to individuals that we are similar to. surface level diversity, which are the traits that are highly visible to us and those among us, such as race, gender, and age. Deep level diversity, which is the values, beliefs, and attitudes that people have. The unconscious or implicit biases, which are stereotypes about groups that are held outside of our conscious awareness. These are all challenges that can create fault lines among peers at work. However, if these can all be overcome, the benefits of diversity are of great importance to the company and to the employees, and ultimately will improve their work-life balance. So now Michael will continue about the cultural differences.
So a few cultural effects that diversity or that the work-life balance will have on an organization, both an employer and an employee, is that there's this thing called ethnocentrism. And that is the mindset of somebody to think that their culture is above everyone else's culture. So this can lead to a lot of unmotivated, and a lot of unsatisfied workers, especially when those unmotivated, unsatisfied workers, they belong to a culture that is not indicative of most of the people in the organization. So that's where a lot of that friction can start to surface. The next thing is nurturing versus aggressive cultures. Aggressive cultures are very competitive, cutthroat, achievement driven, and they definitely want to see results. They are more masculine, they are more direct, forceful, versus a nurturing culture, which that's going to put more emphasis on the relationship aspects. They're going to care more about you. And when we're discussing a work-life balance, we want organizations to have more of a nurturing culture. So organizations, they need to be aware of this. They need to be aware of what cultures they put emphasis on, and they need to be aware of what where other people lie within different cultures and different subcultures. So let's take the example of boomers versus millennials, right? So the boomer is just going to have their nose in the mud, nose in their shoes. They're going to work their 9 to 5. They're not going to ask a ton of questions. They're just kind of going to do their job on average. Versus millennials, they're going to try to sort of work the least amount while still getting their job done. They're the ones that are going to be working odd hours, working different hours. It's just the main point about this is two completely different cultures, a boomer and a millennial. So what this means for an organization is, like I just talked about, there's this extreme shift from the 1950s to present day business and how each person goes about their daily business. A lot of it has to do with work-life balance, and it has changed significantly. So if we look at this table, and this is from Kar Sabhasres, probably butchered that pronunciation, but they did an article on nexusing kind of the work-life balance practice and versus employee retention. But what I want to look at is they surveyed 100 people and they ran a regression with the variables as the survey answers. The main thing to take away from this is that the correlation coefficients for all of these variables are significant, essentially meaning that people value these variables within their work life. They value flexible working environments. They value social, family events, childcare provision, career break options, all of those things. And we need to be mindful of this, and we need to think about these things, because these are what give people a high incentive to work, this high supportive work culture. This is the trend that we're going to see more and more to make employees more productive and ultimately make organizations more productive.
Okay, awesome. So now we're going to be talking about work attitudes and behaviors. So, according to Bauer, the author of Organizational Behavior, Bridging Science and Practice, work attitudes are defined as opinions, beliefs, and feelings about aspects of our environment. This connects very closely with work behaviors, which deals with how our work attitudes affect the things that we do in order to complete our jobs or goals or objectives in the workplace. Some things that correlate with work attitude and behaviors are job satisfaction, organizational commitment, and job engagement. Job satisfaction simply deals with how employees perceive their job on a satisfaction level. Employees with higher job satisfaction dedicate themselves more to their companies and are more likely to bring a positive environment to the workplace. This is very important because it not only affects employees that have low job satisfaction, but even those that have higher job satisfaction, because it is possible for employees to talk and communicate with each other. Those with a lower job satisfaction can bring down others, whether that information is true or false. An institution that is known for tracking job attitudes, the Society for Human Resource Management, conducted a study, and it revealed that 89% of respondents were at least somewhat satisfied with their jobs. This ties in very well to organizational commitment. Organizational commitment deals not only with job satisfaction, but also the specific perceptions that employees have about their workplace emotionally. If you perceive what you're doing in your workplace as scummy or untrustworthy, they will all obviously not be as committed to the mission of the organization. Likewise, if the opposite is perceived, an employee will feel more committed to benefit themselves and the company. Um, Another example, according to a recent Gallup survey, 90% of the employees surveyed said that they were at least somewhat satisfied with their jobs. And another survey by SHRM revealed that 40% were very satisfied. This shows that employees and employers really need to work together to create the perfect work life balance and create a great environment to work in. This relates back to work life balance because stressors and successors at work can be brought back home. This can be a positive and negative stress. It is great to be passionate about your job, but everyone needs to wind down and not get burnt out. Similarly, negative aspects of your job should not affect your home life, or else it will circle back to every other aspect of your life. Moving on.
Now that we've talked about kind of the importance and benefits of work-life balance, let's talk about how managers can help their employees reach that balance. Managers must be supportive. This study found that a supervisor who can provide emotional and practical support leads to employees who have much higher fulfillment on the job and at home. That's not only just being there for when employees want to talk to somebody, but also making them feel comfortable taking time off in situations like that. Managers can also encourage employees to maintain that work-life balance, doing things like creating boundaries, saying maybe we won't send out any work-related emails after 6 p.m. or when you're on your lunch break, we'll leave you alone for that whole period of time, stuff like that. And then by improving their own work-life balance, they show their employees that the organization as a whole cares about work-life balance, and it kind of gives them a little bit of like an idea of how they can achieve that. Next slide, please. And then how employees can improve their own work-life balance. Finding a job you love can really help. If you go to a job you hate every day, sometimes it's hard not to bring it back into your own home life. It can affect kind of your moods and how you deal with family. Take vacations, take that time off. You've earned it, and it helps you kind of separate that time and give you something to look forward to. Looking forward to stuff, you can set goals. It can be at work or at home. Maybe you have a project you want to get done at work in a certain period of time. That can kind of help separate work too, as it's its own set of goals. And then again, setting boundaries, kind of like how a manager could do that, you could do that for yourself. Maybe after 6 p.m., you won't respond to any text messages or emails, or on Sundays, you're not around to do that kind of stuff. It's important to create kind of a line where you draw the line.
So in summary, we discussed work-life balance and all that entails. We talked about the benefits of it, diversity within work-life balance, some of the culture factors that play into it, and also how employees and employers can improve in managing stress and emotions with that. This concludes our presentation. Thank you.